Welcome back to the next trail. Today we are at the Tibet-Butler Nature Preserve in Orlando, Florida, and we are going to do the Pine Circle Trail. I'm going to show you the map here. So the Pine Circle Trail on the map is 0.81 miles. Let's take a look at the map that's provided actually by the preserve. So today we're going to be doing this area right here, which is just that loop, which is the Pine Circle Trail. Let's go hiking. It's an early morning hike. It's just before 8 a.m. and we are up and ready to go to be on this new trail. Is very exciting, and I'm very glad that you're here with me today. We are in Central Florida and hiking the Pine Circle Trail at the Tibet-Butler Nature Preserve. Now, this is part of the trail system that actually is in the preserve. Because as you can see, we're coming to a trailhead here. And if we go off to the right, that's going to take us to the Falling Log Crossing, which goes to our right. So check out the next trail for that. But today we're going to go left and do the Pine Circle Trail. Let's keep hiking. Again, right off the bat, the trail tread, which is what I'm actually walking on, is very clear. There are some roots. There are a few patches of grass and some soil and dirt, but other than that, it's pretty clear. Very flat. I don't see any elevation to speak of yet. And it just hugs you. Perfect sized trail. Got nature on both sides. You can hear the birds chirping. Everybody's awake this morning. Now this Pine Circle Trail will loop back to the Nature Center. So we will finish where we started. So you'll be able to see that loop this morning. I see some beautiful yellow flowers on the side of the trail that are waking up to catch that first sunlight. A little overcast this morning. But I did see the sun driving in this morning to the preserve. That's okay, because it's early morning and there's still dew on the trailhead. Good thing for my new Merrell waterproof hiking shoes. Put a picture of those up so you can see those. I'm very happy with them so far. Only 2 trails into those, and I really am liking them. It took a while to figure out the right shoe, the right boot, and with consultation from folks at REI, they suggested for Florida, for at least the trails that I'm hiking at the moment in Central Florida, a good hiking shoe would be good. So I selected these Merrells. So far, so good. I will be looking for a hiking boot for some more advanced and longer treks. So keep an eye out for those videos as well, where I mention those. But the hiking shoe, hiking boot, absolutely essential. I think we're going to curve around here. Looks like you can go a couple ways. So there's a little short cut there to the actual parking lot. There you can go to your left. It says thank you for visiting. We're going to continue to our right, continue the Pine Circle Trail as it goes around back to the nature preserve. Beautiful morning and absolutely perfect weather. Not too humid, almost has a little chill in the air. I guess for Floridians, so chill's anything below 80 degrees. But we'll still take it, I'll promise you. Because when that sun comes up, it is right. Some other essentials that I'm packing today. I'm wearing my Osprey Stratos 24-liter backpack. Very happy with that backpack so far. I have not yet integrated the water system into it. You can actually put a pack inside the backpack to carry water. Because I also carry my Yeti 36-ounce Rambler, which lasts me for these short hikes very easily. And I can actually refill at the nature center here at the Tibet-Butler Nature Preserve. So I appreciate that from them very much. Inside my Osprey Stratos 24-liter backpack, I have a couple other essentials. I carry a Silva Explorer 2.0 compass in case I need to get oriented and get back to the nature center. I don't see that being a big issue on the Pine Circle Trail because it is well kept and well marked. Even some seating areas we're passing right now. In case you want to just sit down and take in nature. It sounds like the staff is doing some early morning work, possibly a backpack blower or something to that extent. But that is okay because we are well away from that noise. We can still hear it, but well away from it, enough that we are still in nature, and that's the most important piece. I'm using my Trekology trekking poles today. Even though it's flat, I still use them to keep that stability on the trail. And very grateful for them, as there are some tricky areas, and it just also helps with stability when doing the difficult terrain or any kind of different shifting in terrain from sand to rocks on the trailhead. Fold my map up here. It's great that I have a map, a crucial, critical, essential item. If you can print those before you go hiking, that's awesome. You can also possibly pick them up at the trailhead or at the nature centers at a lot of these different parks and preserves. So I find that very helpful. Staff is always very friendly. And I really appreciate them doing what they do and keeping these trails perfect. There's a lot of signage on these trails to keep you on the trail, because obviously every preserve, every park wants to encourage you to stay on the trail. There's a lot of do not enters, staff only signs that you can see in a lot of these areas because there is a outer access road to the preserve. I've been told that's obviously for access in case of emergency or any fires or extractions. Now just look at this. Look at what we're walking through right now. That moss is on the trees. It's just hanging down. And that trail is just lit up by that white sand trail tread, just highlighting the beauty of the awesomeness of this trail. Absolutely a special moment when you find spots like that on the trails that you can just really appreciate nature and the green space that's around you. It is still Mental Health Awareness Month, still the month of May, and we are taking in the benefits of hiking on mental health. That is our objective with these first few videos. We're not going to stop with the videos after Mental Health Awareness Month ends, going into June. However, we'll continue on this journey to show the benefits of nature, outdoors, hiking, on mental health, etc. So we're gonna stop for just a second and put my map in my pocket here, because I don't want that to get in the way of nature. If we need to pull it back out, we'll pull it out. Let's keep hiking. But we're hiking for the benefits on mental illness because we know just how impactful these type of activities, specifically hiking, are on relieving stress, helping reduce anxiety, even help with management of depression, PTSD, sleep issues, focus. That's a new one, because once we start talking about focus, we're talking about attention deficit. And some folks have ADHD, you may have heard that term used. That's just an acronym for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. A lot of times folks can experience the hyperactive piece or just the attention piece, or both. It looks like we're crossing the roadway here. That this is the entrance to the park, to the preserve. So we just want to be careful. There's actually a crosswalk here. Thank you very much for the crosswalk. And we continue on at the Tibet-Butler Preserve, and we're doing the Pine Circle Trail. Going back to ADHD, a lot of folks, do take meds for that. They do get diagnosed early with that, a lot of times in childhood, because my child just can't sit still, or the teacher says they can't sit still. Well, there is some research out there that says, hold on a second. The brain isn't even fully developed until in the mid-20s for females and the early 30s for males. So we gotta be mindful of that and to say, okay, well, the brain is developing. And then sometimes the immediate intervention is medication. Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with medications. Not at all. It helps manage. There's a squirrel right in front of me. Sorry. That moment where we say, squirrel, and the attention goes, but there he is right there going up the tree. Hi, bud. What are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. But just like that, the attention just went to the left to the squirrel, and now we're bringing it back to center to the trail. So, perfect example. But some folks that do struggle with that attention piece or symptom, where their attention just drifts very quick. It sometimes just stays off task, and can be problematic. A lot of times with mental disorders, mental illness, obviously part of the criteria, it has to have a impact on life. It has to have an impact on your daily activity. So if it really gets in the way of you getting things done, for example, you start a project and your attention drifts and you're like, okay, I'll get back to that. Now I got to do this project. So you go to the second project and you don't finish that one, and third project. So you got 5 different projects open, and a lot of them have due dates or deadlines, or if you're at work or if you're just in your own personal life, have those goals and values of getting stuff done. Sometimes that can be an issue. Monetary, that just you put a lot of money into something and it just doesn't get done, or the supplies just sit in the garage or somewhere and just sit there and expire. A lot of times, in general, just starting projects and completing projects is just part of life. That's part of the problem solving. And that is actually a huge benefit of hiking on mental health, is because we're able to problem solve. So for example, right now we know we can go left to continue on Pine Circle Trail, or we can go right and do the Palmetto Passage. Well, if we don't know anything about the Palmetto Passage, we had to problem solve this and say, look, well, there's a caution here. How long is this trail? Where's it going to take me? Where does it end up? So we have to continue on the trail that we are planned, and then logistically we may choose that Palmetto Passage as the next trail. But problem solving that is, which way do I go? That's why a lot of times it's good to do some research before you come out, so it will help with that problem solving ability that we have. All animals, and I'm going to venture to say all insects, animals, reptiles, everything has a problem solving piece to their brain, because they have a brain. And hiking just allows that internal piece to our thinking to be able to problem solve clearly, more effectively. And it allows us to stay, in a sense, focused, hyper-focused sometimes, because if we get lost, there's going to be a whole nother chain reaction going on in our brain, in our body. And there is a psychology to being lost, which I recently learned and heard a presentation from the Florida Orienteering organization. They do orienteering as a sport, which is a whole nother world never even thought about. But they also are very well knowledgeable about getting lost and getting unlost, as they like to say. So definitely got to take things seriously when you're out in nature, because you never know what you're going to be up against from a logistical standpoint, from all the planning that you do to make sure that you're at the right location, that you're on the right trailhead, that you've got the right equipment. And all of this matters because, a lot of times you have really only one chance, because you may be in areas on a trail that are not as easily accessible by other humans in case something happens to you. And you've got to be mentally prepared for pretty much anything that pops up, which is just a huge mental part of hiking and being in nature, being outdoors. And it's also a fun part because it pushes you and challenges you to really explore your limits and maybe even go beyond your limits, which is, I think, very special. Because a lot of times we get in a redundancy of everyday life, and sometimes we do things the same day in, day out, and we sometimes don't feel as challenged as much. But when you're out on the trails and in nature, you definitely get pushed a little bit. And just as much as it is relaxing and it helps with reducing anxiety and stress and even minimizing the depression symptoms, sometimes it can be a little stressful, but it's different. It's a different stress because you got to problem solve. And as soon as we started the Pine Circle Trail, we're almost full circle because it is a loop, and we're almost back to the nature center here. So you can see approaching the trailhead here. And I really want to put out to you that I'm very grateful for you being here today, and we've got a lot more to talk about as we do these videos, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do, and I look forward to seeing you on the next trail.